Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices, and we've allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, this is something you can see yourself supporting. Well, we ask that you join the cause. How? Well, make sure that you are subscribed and following all of our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this live program is being streamed on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Facebook. We could be found under Frankie Olivo. Make sure you follow our personal page on Face. We could be found under Olivo Frankie. But more importantly, if you haven't already, create a Gmail account, go to YouTube, like, follow, and subscribe to our channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. It's free. Remember, I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you for food. You want us to continue to talk about the latest that is happening within our area? I will gladly do so. It is not in my best interest to talk about these delicate issues. All I ask in return is something very simple, something as easy as ABC 123. Make sure that you follow our social media platforms. Why, you may ask? Well, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, the constituent, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. So if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable, well, you know what to do. Make sure that you subscribe to Frankie Olivo TV on YouTube. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday religiously. So make sure that you're following all of our social media platforms. We will not be silenced. And always remember, Brownsville, we are forever grateful to each and every one of you for the time and attention that each and every one of you provides us. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Friday. I hope this week has been an eventful one for each and every one of you. For your humble servant, I have been busy. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be of service to my clients, but also, more importantly, to my community. We have to take advantage of these times because there will be a time where work is scarce. So I'm thankful for the opportunity that I have, for the opportunity that you, the people, the community, give our platform, and also a special shout out to each and every one of my clients. I know, I hope you know that I'm grateful to each and every one of you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the eve of early voting. We are 3-4 days away from the start of when you, the people, could go to the ballot box and make your decision. We have tried our very best to make sure that we keep you informed in regards to the races. We have been focusing on some races more than others. I want you to realize these are very important races that ultimately, whoever you, the people, decide to be your next representative will ultimately shape the future of our community moving forward. Whenever we elect an individual, we have to think of the future for 8 years. How will the congressional district for 34 look like in 2, 4, 6, 8 years from now? Who is the right person for that job? When we talk about Precinct 2, how do you want Precinct 2 to be represented? County clerk, the 107th Judicial District Court. We have been criticized for focusing heavily on the Cameron County judge race. And we've heard it all. We've heard that, we are biased, that we are getting paid. For those individuals that are criticizing us, you must be new to the program. If you've been following Good Morning Brownsville from our inception, we give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we focus on candidates and platforms, especially whenever they don't give us nothing. If you go back to the May municipal runoffs, we focus heavily on Pedrito Cárdenas. Why are you only talking about Perito Cárdenas? We did 10 episodes. We said, porque Perito tiene mucha cola. Why are you focusing on Steve Guerra? Because Steve Guerra has not been honest with you. He wants to claim that he is transparent in his campaign literature. He's talking about transparency and change and this, that, and that. He can't even give us the basics, ladies and gentlemen. He can't even let us know what he does as his profession. What's his source of income? What's his stance on SpaceX? What's his stance on LNG? How is he going to handle a budget of, what is it, $200 million, $500 million? We don't know because he hasn't said anything. And his team is saying, oh, well, you know, you're fake news, you're biased, you have an agenda. Shouldn't you, the people, know a person's platform? Shouldn't you be able to ask these tough questions? Ladies and gentlemen, if we do not get any answers from a candidate when they're running for office, what makes us think that we are going to get answers if and when they are elected to that position? I find it hard and mind-boggling for people to say, well, my vote's for him. You don't know his platform. He has been accused of very serious allegations, and he is quiet about it. For today's program, we're going to focus and ask the question, what's going on, Steve? Why are you avoiding the people? I think it's a basic question, don't you think? At the end of the day, he is claiming to be transparent, that he is going to promote transparency. Ladies and gentlemen, if a candidate cannot answer very simple questions, what do we expect whenever if he gets elected into office? It's mind-boggling. Now, why do we do this? Why are we risking ourselves? Because we believe wholeheartedly in the power of information. The purpose of this microphone is to hold elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable. We're not biased. We could care less about Eddie Trevino. We could care less about Steve Guerra. We could care less about Eric Garza. Ultimately, the people that I have to answer to is you, the viewer, the community member. Because you're going to see me out in the street and you're going to say, why didn't you talk about that? Why didn't you let me know about this? What am I going to say? At the end of the day, it is my responsibility to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you decide to do with that information, ladies and gentlemen, is totally out of my hands. So for today's program, we titled it, What is going on, Steve? Why are you avoiding the people? And that is how we will start today's program. Thank you so much for tuning in, Bronzo. I really, really appreciate it. But first, of course, a word from our sponsor.
I've dedicated my life to public service, but now I see a county that's ready for change. It's time to bring accountability, transparency, and efficiency to how your tax dollars are managed. We can lower taxes and make government work smarter for you. I'm Jonathan Gracia, and I humbly ask for your vote for Cameron County Treasurer, so together we can build a better future.
Whenever we talk about the county judge position, ultimately what that person is seeking to be is the face, our representative. That individual, whoever is elected out of this Democratic primary and whoever comes out victorious against Mauro Garza in November in the general election, ultimately will come with great responsibility. whoever that person is ultimately will have to show face. He will have to answer tough questions. I understand that people do not like Eddie Trevino. Many have many reservations in regards to him being a county judge. It's fair. One thing that I appreciate about politicians is they give face. They make themselves available. One thing that I liked about someone such as Roy de los Santos was that he always made himself available. If you had any questions in regards to his platform, his goals, his vision, he always made it a priority to come out and speak on podcasts. You know, he always asked, hey, let's go to lunch. Let's talk about things. We may not agree with his stance on the LGBTQ flag being flown on city grounds. We may not agree on other things, but at the end of the day, we expect our politicians to show face, to answer the tough questions. At the end of the day, ultimately, that is what we, the people, demand from our elected leaders. And that is something that Steve Guerra has failed to do. Steve Guerra, in late January, a few weeks ago, he was set to be the keynote speaker at the Brownsville Crime Stoppers luncheon. Do the right thing. He failed to show up, citing family emergencies. And we understand, you know, things come up, you know, children sometimes get sick, family always comes first. We understand that. And we were scratching our heads as to why didn't Steve Guerra show up? According to his team, Joanne, it was because I was there. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an average citizen. I paid for my ticket. I sat down and I ate. I did not cause a ruckus. I did not cause a scene. I was simply there to hear from the candidate himself. So he failed to appear at the Brownsville Crime Stoppers event. Okay. We were just informed this morning that Steve Guerra was supposed to be a principal for a day at Porter High School. He failed to show up. What's going on, Steve? Why do you keep on avoiding the people? It's not like we're going to ask you personal information, personal things that we can't ask. We're asking for simple stuff. Steve is trying to fly low under the radar because he thinks that you're dumb. You, the voter. Ladies and gentlemen, if I accused you of very serious allegations, I would dare say that you would denounce those allegations. You would make a public statement and say, there are rumors going around. I am aware of this. I want to let the community know that they're false. Now, he has said this privately to people that come back and tell me, but he'll go on the record and state this. Why? Because the evidence is overwhelming. And it's troubling because Steve Guerra has been linked to Huachicol. This has become the new source of income for the cartels. Why can't he answer this? And he has been linked to this for years. According to a lawsuit filed in 2022, he owed a company $360,000. That is what he owed. Imagine the other amounts of petroleum, the volume that he brought across or sold. Why is he avoiding that simple question? Because it seems as if Steve has been caught with his hand in the cookie jar. Because Steve, for the past 3 or 4 years, has been denying these allegations. You're wrong. You're wrong. I have nothing to do with Huachicol. Again, Huachicol, ladies and gentlemen, for those that aren't aware, it's the new source of income. Yes, cocaine is still big. Yes, heroin is still big. But now, the more lucrative and money-making source of income for these illicit underworld operatives is Huachicol, because it enables them to sustain their global criminal enterprises and drug trafficking operations on both sides of the border. Why is Steve Guerra avoiding this very simple question? At the end of the day, Muppet, focus. We're talking about Steve. You could vote for Eric Flores if you want. At the end of the day, these are very serious allegations. Now, Steve Guerra's team has stated, oh, well, you know, he's not responsible to the people that he delivers it to. Really? Because the source that is receiving this petroleum is being investigated and has been designated by the Mexican government of investigations as being a cartel enterprise. And Steve Guerra's team is trying to state that this is fake news. There's a lawsuit. This isn't something that I'm making up. It's something that is real and is happening. I got a call. I apologize. This is something that is real. I have told you, I have posted lawsuits. There's a case number filed with the district clerk's office here in Cameron County. Now, whenever we talk about his campaign, it has been shadowed by persistent allegations that he is currently involved in Huachicol, the illegal shipment and sale of fuel for several years now. And again, he has publicly denounced this. He has publicly denied any wrongdoing. He's insisting that the allegations are politically motivated, that they are attacks from his what's his name? He's been saying that these is just fake news, that this is a politically motivated smear campaign. But critics, such as this platform, we point to the fact that past business associations through lawsuits filed here in Cameron County, especially Warrior Fuel Traders, LLC, and unresolved investigations are cause for concern. The controversy, it has been polarizing. Some view the claims as a smear tactic, which is common during campaign season, while others argue that these allegations, they raise serious questions about integrity, honesty, and transparency. Why is Steve Guerra avoiding these questions? Why is he avoiding any public appearance in regards to possibly being asked these questions? If notice, he's been under the radar as of late. He went to this LULAC presentation where only 5 people appeared. There's a debate or a forum this coming Tuesday in Harlingen. Will he show face? Will he appear? I will dare say no. He's going to avoid any and all public events as much as possible. Because as early day voting and as election day approaches, the candidate faces mounting pressure to provide an explanation and possibly documentations to restore public trust. Now, it's important. It's important for us to ask these tough questions. Frankie, are you lying? Are you being biased? What is going on? At the end of the day, this is something that you, the voter, should know about. Why? Because this is a very big issue. Across the pond, ladies and gentlemen, there is actively a $1 million reward for 3 underworld operatives out of Tamaulipas. And look what it says, the reason why they're wanted for. They're wanted for theft and fuel smuggling. That has become now the source of revenue for these cartels. This is a very serious issue. Even though his team is saying that, oh, well, you know, he's a business owner, he's an entrepreneur. He doesn't know who it gets delivered to. The invoice says it. This isn't something that we don't know about. And the people, they want to know about this.
Documents don't lie. Public records link Steve Guerra, chairman of the Brownsville Navigation District, to fuel transactions connected to illegal oil smuggling. Court filings show his company owed over $300,000 for diesel shipped to a firm identified by Mexican authorities as a fuel smuggling operation. This isn't rumor, it's on record. When trust matters, voters deserve the truth. Steve Guerra, what was really going on?
Ladies and gentlemen, these are very serious allegations that Steve Guerra and his associates are in some sort of way involved. In some sort of way involved with the underworld. And look, Huachicol is smuggling that has been happening since the 80s. And using drug smuggling to deflect. Now it's just that it's being exposed. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about what's been happening in Matamoros as of late. If you recall, ladies and gentlemen, an attorney, a very prominent attorney, was murdered in Matamoros a few weeks ago, which scared a lot of people. At the end of the day, Matamoros, for the most part, is safe. Unless you're Frank Olivo crossing. But as long as you're not in the game, as long as you're not acting a fool, it's safe to say that you're okay. As long as you're not driving a truck, a Jeep, maybe you'll be okay. But what's been happening in Matamoros has caused great fear as of late. Remember, 2 weeks ago, there was this murder of an attorney. It turns out that that attorney was the attorney of El Contador, Alfredo Cárdenas, who is currently locked up in a Mexican prison. But as we all know and have heard, even though they're locked up in Mexico, they're still running the game. They're still very much active. Look what happened just a few days ago in Matamoros. It's scary to hear and to learn that it's the Wild West. You can't hear the audio, but this is gunshots, gunfire. The post made by, let me see, the post made by Manny Alerta de Riesgo, a Tamaulipas blog, stated madrugada, Matamoros, Tamaulipas, amaneció caliente. Todo empezó desde que ejecutaron al abogado del contador, Alfredo Cárdenas, del Cartel del Golfo, Escorpiones. Todo coordinado desde Almoloya de Juárez, donde está el líder máximo encerrado. Todo esto se compuso. All of this happened today. In the wee hours of Matamoros. It was hell. Everything started because of the execution of the attorney of Alfredo Cárdenas, el contador from the Cartel del Golfo, Scorpion. I'm going to leave you the link here, ladies and gentlemen, so you can hear. This was happening. This violence has been happening in Matamoros, Tamaulipas. And you may ask, how is this related? Because guess how the cartels make money? Make money for what? Make money to continue their enterprise. Make money to buy arms, drones, weapons through Huachicol. Back in the 80s and 90s, ladies and gentlemen, cocaine was the main source of income. That's because they weren't up close, Brownsville Corrupt. Go to the link that I posted. What I'm trying to get at is the violence in Mexico stays afloat, is able to sustain itself through monies that come from Huachicol. Now the big deal isn't cocaine. Haven't you noticed that President Trump and this administration has been tackling hard the drug routes, the smuggling routes, all the way from South America, Peru, Chile? We've seen videos of federal agents eliminating the drug runners in the boats. Now the new trend is slowly shifting away, and I don't want to say completely, but it's slowly shifting away from drugs now to Huachicol. That is the new source of income. Because whenever we think of, and we close our eyes, we think of drugs going north and the money coming down south. That's the way it's always worked. That's the game. Right? Now what we're starting to see is that Huachicol has in some sort of way, not completely, in some sort of way, replaced the drugs because it is more lucrative. Now, Steve Guerra has serious questions to answer. He can lay this all to rest and say, I have nothing to do with it. This lawsuit is because of XYZ. It doesn't look good whenever in the invoices that we have showed, and I can show you as well, is linked to the cartels. Pyrodiesel. If you see it on the screen, I'll zoom in. Pyrodiesel, bill to Pyrodiesel del Centro, SA, out of Pachuca, Hidalgo, has been designated by the Mexican government as being cartel affiliated. And again, I'm not making this up. You don't believe me? And look, I don't want you to believe me. My grandfather is a preacher. You know what he tells the people? He says, don't believe a word I say. Get your Bible. You investigate. You look up what I'm saying. Don't believe anything I say. I'm a man. I'm a human. I can lie to you. But I'm giving you crumbs. I'm directing you in the way, in the path for you to confirm what we are saying. I'm providing you a case number, 2012 DCL 5154, filed in the district clerk's office of Laura Perez Reyes in Cameron County, Texas. If you think that I am lying, if you think that this platform runs on fake news, I ask you, go to the district clerk's office and search this case number if you think we're lying. I have no reason to lie to you. Unlike Steve Guerra, we are transparent. We do show face to our community. Now, why is this important? Why? Because ultimately what is happening, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are going to see how these politicos are starting to get away from Steve Guerra. Because who wants to be associated with someone that has these allegations over his head? He's being endorsed, he's being supported by the city of Brownsville city commissioners. Are they aware of these allegations? And if so, do they still support Steve Guerra? It's a fair question to ask, isn't it? Here we have, am I on the screen? No. Here we have Constable for Precinct 1, Norman Esquivel. Is he aware that Steve Guerra is involved with Huachicol, that has a direct link with Mexican cartels? Now you may say, Frankie, a picture's just a picture, not an endorsement. But we hear through the grapevine that these individuals, they're pushing for Steve. They want Steve in office. So the question that I ask these gentlemen, these elected leaders, are you going to openly support and endorse a Huachicol dealer for Cameron County judge? Watch. After today's program, nobody's going to get away. Nobody's going to get near Steve. Nobody's going to take pictures with Steve. Nobody's going to get anywhere close to Steve. Because these are very serious allegations. And ladies and gentlemen, I am a simple community member. If I was able to find this information, if my production team was able to find these people that are involved, I get made fun of for creating a web. Brownsville Corrupt. I posted the link. Go do your homework. If I, with limited resources, am able to find this out and put 2 and 2 together, don't you think the 3-letter agencies are well aware of this? There is talks. I don't know. But there is talks that the port is being looked at heavily by the 3-letter agencies because there are allegations of stolen money, anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million. I haven't been able to confirm this, but according to insiders that work within the port, they say that everyone is walking on pins and needles. Is this true? I don't know. But my question to the community is, what's going on, Steve? Why are you avoiding the people? Are you going to answer to these serious allegations? Or are you just going to think that, oh, nothing's going to happen? Frankie's just an idiot. I've been accused by Steve of being a so-called influencer. Nobody listens to Frankie. Well, our numbers say otherwise. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is what you want out of an elected leader, an elected county judge, then vote for him. If you want somebody with a sketchy background that has links to organized crime, If this is what you want, then vote for him. If you want somebody that is not going to answer the tough questions, that is not going to answer your questions, vote for him. Because if he does not answer questions right now when he's asking for your vote, what makes us think that he's going to answer our questions if and when he's elected? I'm just trying to be real, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, I could care less who wins. People have stated, oh, well, you have something to gain. What do I have to gain? I'm not getting paid. I'm not going to get a job. This is what I do. I chase stories. I keep my community informed. The choice is yours, people. Again, my job isn't to convince you. My job is to give you the black and the white. Whatever you decide to do with this information, that's out of my hands. That's not my job. So I ask you, first, directly, Tino Villarreal, Gustavo de Leon, Perito Cárdenas, do you support a Huachicol dealer for Cameron County judge that has been linked to Mexican cartel? And if you do, go on the record. You know you won't. Why? Sacatito pa'l conejo. Y'all are scared. Y'all are worried. Y'all are hoping Steve gets elected. Because if not, this is going to look very bad on each and every one of you. That's just the truth. Why do you think Steve is hiding? Why do you think Steve is not showing face? Yes, he could post on his page. Yes, he can go to the LULAC presentation with 5 people present where nobody's going to ask him these tough questions. But in reality, he knows what's up. He just thought that nobody was stupid enough or ballsy enough to talk about it. But guess who is? How do you feel, ladies and gentlemen, of a candidate being accused of something very serious? Of being a Huachicol dealer. And this isn't fake news. I have shown you with proof that there is a lawsuit filed within Cameron County District Clerk's office that links warrior fuel traders Esteban Guerra and Carlos Guerrero, who now are the owners of Mi Pueblito, to my understanding. I'm not making this up. What benefit does it bring me to make this up? The choice is yours, my people. If this is what you want to be your elected leader, that's up to you. If you want somebody with links to the Mexican cartel, vote for Steve Guerra. If you want somebody that is not transparent, that will not answer basic questions, ladies and gentlemen, we don't even know what he does for a living. If somebody asks me, Frankie, what do you do? I'm an insurance broker. Where's your office? 302 Kings Highway, Suite 111, Brownsville, Texas, 78521. You could find me. You could tell me I'm at your office. You could try. I don't think so. You could try. Do we even know what he thinks about SpaceX? Hello, SpaceX is in our backyard. That's one of the biggest investments made in the county with over, $3 billion investment? And it's still going to increase even more because they're going to make plazas. They're going to do their own hospital. They're going to do their own schools. They're going to LNG on Highway 48. Another big investment of $300-400 million here in Cameron County. Do we know what Steve Guerra thinks about that investment? Is he for it? Is he against it? Not a peep. Why? It's very baffling to me. And again, I'm not no political consultant. I'm not a political guru. I just study races. I'm a nerd. This fascinates me. So whenever you have two candidates in Steve Guerra and Eric Garza, that hey, what's your stance on this? What? Oh, no. Transparency. Yes, transparent. They use all the punch words, all the political rhetoric. Oh, transparency, change. Yes, transparency, change. Transparency, change. Yes. Steve, what's your job? What? Steve, what's your goal for camera ready? What? Steve, what do you think about SpaceX? What? Steve, are you linked to Huachicol with Cartels? What? Ladies and gentlemen, chinga, hombre. It's like you're running for a position. You're not telling people what you want to do. How are you going to? He talks about change. Change is needed. Well, how are you going to change, Steve? What are the problems facing the community? How are you going to implement that? He's scared because once he opens up, people are going to ask him and say, there's this crazy madman talking about you having links to Huachicol. Is that true, Steve? And what is he going to say? No, he's wrong. There's proof. There's evidence. And once you go on the record, that's it. What do you expect out of an elected official, ladies and gentlemen? It's plain and simple. You could hate Eddie Trevino. He could be scum of scum. But he shows face. If you have any questions in regards to his dealings with the county, him accepting alleged money from a cartel member, he went on the record. He's been having events. I encourage the community in Harlingen on Tuesday. There's going to be a debate. If you have any questions, you know who's going to be there? Well, according to the pamphlet, the only one that is confirmed is Eddie Trevino. If you have any questions in regards to his candidacy, go talk to him. He's making himself available. He's not hiding. At the end of the day, that's what I want for my politicians. Look, we could agree to disagree. You could have your favorite candidate. You could support your candidate. That's fine and dandy. But do you want a candidate that hides? And another thing that trips me out. Eddie Trevino lo retó. Hey, Steve, a debate. You know what his people are saying? Oh, he's asking for a debate because he's losing. No, he's asking for a debate because Steve apparently does not know the issues, does not want to talk about the issues. Wouldn't anyone that's vying for a position, Frankie, I challenge you to a debate. Pues órale, un tiro when? Tell me when. I'll be ready because I want to show the people that I'm better than you, Eddie Trevino, and I'm not going to show it. I'm going to show the people. I will show face and I will answer questions. That would be my position. I would give face. I would say, you want to debate? Órale, un tiro. Let's go. I'm ready. Steve? And his people are saying, oh, that means that Eddie Trevino is losing. No, Eddie Trevino is taunting you, Steve. He's saying, hey, Steve, no traes nada, compa. If he did, he will step up to the plate. And look, this is nothing personal on Steve. I like the guy. People have misconstrued. Well, maybe now Steve doesn't like me very much. But look, these people think that just because we're acquaintances, that I'm not going to talk about them. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no friends in this game. I really don't. The only friendship that I need and I want is you listening to me right now. Because politicians, they come and they go. Politicians make promises. At the end of the day, I could care less about them. You know who I care about? You know who I have to deal with for the next 30 years if God lets me live that long? You, the people. I have to deal with you. You have to deal with me. That is why I will always show face. I will try to be as honest and transparent as possible. I'm not here for the politicians, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here, and our program and our platform is designed in a way to keep our elected leaders and those in leadership positions accountable. Who else could say that? What other? I was with my barber yesterday. Shouts out, Babuchin. I was with my barber yesterday. He said, "You know what, Frankie? I trip out, man, because there's other blogs up there. There's other people on the internet, but nobody does what you do." And I really never thought about it, because I'm so involved in this, and I'm in my zone, and I'm in work, and I'm focused, guys. I don't know if you know, but I'm fucking focused, man. And he said, nobody does what you do, bro. Everybody else, they do like, excuse my French, I know my grandpa listens to me, I know my mom listens to me, puras pendejadas. To try and be relevant, to try and create content. He's like, you talk about what the educated people listen to. You talk about BISD, you talk about Cameron County, you talk to the city of Brownsville, you talk about what is going on here, you talk about relevant things, bro. And I really never thought about it. I was like, yeah, I guess. He's like, that's what sets you apart from everyone else. And why am I saying this? Because there's other platforms that have been throwing out mugrero, but you know who their audience is? The uneducated. Those that don't vote. You know who watches our program? The educated people. The people with money. The people that matter. The people that genuinely want trustworthy, like-minded politicians. That is what this program is about. And I'm not sharing this because I pop my collar. No, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the most humble person you will ever meet. Again, I know what it's like to live in abundance, and I know what it's like to live miserable. I'm a very humble person, and I'm very thankful for each and every blessing and problem that I've lived in my short 39 years of life. Okay, go. Then why are you watching me? You talk a lot of shit about me, but you're always still here. If you don't like what we have to say, tune me out. What do? You show pictures of your body, of your face, of your... Okay, good for you. If you don't like what we have to say, get out of here. It's like you're watching TV. You just turn the channel, right? Who's stupid? Who's stupid? The one broadcasting it or the one listening to it, Mark? Honestly, bro. Honestly, if you don't like what we have to say, get off. But you're an idiot for constantly following and commenting. I don't want you to leave because I benefit. And the 9-pack. Bro, I don't want you to leave. And I got nothing but love, Mark. I got nothing but love. I benefit from each comment, like, and share, man. If you don't like, tune me out. And then 9-pack. Ladies and gentlemen, I have done my job. I have told you about different politicians, different races. We have covered others more than others. Ultimately, on Tuesday, you will be able to decide who you want to be your next representative. If you see Steve Guerra out, ask him, Steve, what's going on? Why are you avoiding the people? Is it true you are a Huachicol dealer, Steve? Do you have links to the Mexican cartel, Steve? He won't answer, and he won't give you face. He will avoid you because he has nothing to say. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Best believe Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., sometimes a little bit after. I apologize. Religiously. All I ask of my community Why is Guerra Green Beret talking to Guerra? I saw that on Juan Montoya's page. That's very interesting. Again, there's talks that the three-letter agencies are actively looking at the port. The port is hot right now, ladies and gentlemen. Como dice la raza, the block is hot. Their eyeballs on that thing, they're watching it like a hawk. Está caliente el pedo. Why was he there? I don't know. That's a good question. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time, your attention. Election day starts Tuesday. Ultimately, you, the people, will decide who you want to be your next representative. I have done my job. Who will you vote for Cameron County Judge? My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace!
Thank you.